Hi, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. What I want to talk about today is an efficient use of spare time. What are the absolute worst things to spend your spare time on, and what are some of the better things or the best things that you can do? And also at the end, I'm going to tell you two quick little bonuses as well that work for me that you might find helpful. Okay? So first of all, why do I think it's important to talk about efficient use of spare time? I'm going to focus primarily spare time in the office and less so much spare time at home. Mostly spare time in the office, and also at the end there's one bonus, actually a spare time thing for the car. Okay, so let's get into it. The reason we want to use all of our time at the office and be ruthless about our time at the office is so that we don't have to do any work at home, and so that we can be totally present at home and not always thinking about our work. I want to tell you, I wasn't always this way. Before, I used to do work on the weekends, I used to do work at nights, I used to do work all the time, reading business books at nights and on the weekends, and I never really had any control. There's a topic that I learned in Strategic Coach called free days, focus days, and buffer days. And let me you can Google that if you want to learn more. But the idea is a free day is a 24-hour period from midnight to midnight where you're not doing any business or work-related tasks. For me, normally that's the weekend, and then once in a while I can get one during the week. And that means on the weekend I don't listen to any business books, I don't do any podcasts, I don't do any business things at all. I'm totally present with my family and with my church and with other activities. The next aspect is focus days, which are most of the days in the office. That's a 24-hour period where you're doing at least 8 hours worth of focused. That's revenue generating activity. For us, that's usually seeing patients or doing these podcasts and working on things for Podiatry Practice Mastery and things like that. And that's what we do most days when we're at work. They're focus days, surgical days, things like that. Buffer days, I don't have many buffer days. Buffer days are days that you're working on and preparing for good focus days and preparing for good free days. So that might be a day like when you get back from vacation, you need to take a day off to get everything ready for the office or get everything grocery shopping and do these other things. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into depth about those types of days, but this is a concept I learned that dramatically affected my life, because no longer on the weekends do I ever think about business and don't do any business. I just don't. Same thing at night. I don't do it. So all the more we want to be more efficient during the day. And what I talk about, what's spare time? To me, spare time consists of when a patient doesn't show up, so you have a little bit of time, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Time in between patients. You go see a patient, you finish the note, you're done, and you have a spare 3, 4, 5 minutes. Free time could be at lunchtime if you ever take a lunch. So basically, whenever you're not going room to room seeing patients, we all have a little bit of downtime or spare time. And I'm going to start with the worst ways of using spare time, and I'm going to take them from personal experience, and then I'm going to go into the best ways of using spare time, and then a couple of bonus tips. So in my opinion, the worst thing, and I'm going to explain, this happens to me sometimes, is when I start checking email in between patients in the beginning of the day. So I get up in the morning, I get to the office, and then I have a little bit of time, and I start checking my email, and I just go through my email. And then I have two emails. I have a Gmail, and I have an Outlook for the office, and I'll kind of go back and forth. And then I have Podiatry Practice Mastery, so I'll go back and forth, looking at them, answering a few things, doing a few things. And there goes numerous minutes that are wasted that I can never get back. Okay, I'm gonna give you the antidote. What's the better way? A better way is only looking at email at noontime. That's when I tend to do it, most days when I'm good. And I only look at noontime, and for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I just take care of what I need to take care of. Okay, that's my email one. The second one is looking at some type of like social media. I don't use much social media, but I know people, they use Instagram, they use Facebook, they use Snapchat. I use LinkedIn. I guess if you're going to call that social media, I use LinkedIn. And occasionally I find times that I have a little bit of extra time, I get bored, and I look at LinkedIn a little bit more than I should. I don't use any of the other ones, so that's not a temptation to me. I just don't even have them. So if you have them, I would not look at them, or look at them at your same block time. So when you look at email, look at your social media, post a couple of things, reply to a couple of things if you need to, and just have that. What's a better way for LinkedIn that I found? I don't do it once a day. I actually do it once a week. I have a reminder that pulls up in an app called Todoist, and then once a month it pulls up and it tells me to check my LinkedIn. It tells me to check my reviews on YouTube, check my reviews on Google, and so I do all that thing once a month. Okay, that's a better way of blocking the time. Another thing is staying away from like communication. Another way of communicating could be like Messenger or text messages, or I use WhatsApp a lot. And once again, same thing. Don't be looking at it every time you have a few minutes and just doing it. What you want to do is you want to take a time. Same thing. I use lunchtime for this as well. So I look at WhatsApp as well, and I answer all the messages that I have at that one time, any messages or other things. Now, even my wife, she can't even get a hold of me. So she has to call the office. She can't text message because I don't look at her texts. She can't only WhatsApp me at lunch. And she has to call the office, just like everyone else, if you want to get hold of me, because I don't want to be distracted. If it's something important, the office will send me within my medical record. So a better way of doing WhatsApp and messages is all at lunchtime. Once again, I'm a big advocate of that. Other thing is this is something that I've made mistakes. I don't know if you've done this, but random work on my website. I will randomly work on my website because I use Kajabi so I can do little tweaks and edits. It's just a horrible way, and the reason it's a horrible way to spend my time is because I never get finished with it. And then it's almost like that open drawer syndrome where I want to close it and I can't, and I'm frustrated because I'm with a patient and I'm trying to do design work on Canva and other types of things, and so it's just distracting. So I recommend, first of all, don't doing web work, but if you do, either hire it out or just have some dedicated time to doing that. And then the final thing is with a phone as well. The worst thing is in between patients, always looking at your phone. This is something I see more and more. People, when we get a little bit bored, it's almost like our pacifier. We just look at the phone. So once again, I put my phone away and I only pull it out at noon. I know this might sound really drastic, but I want to be totally dedicated to doing things that are productive so I can be totally present with my family when I get home and I don't have to do any of these other things. And it's also addictive. So the more you do those other things, the more you're going to be called to do them. So what are some better ways or better efficient uses of time? My number one best use of time is I have in every Google Chrome browser, because I have 6 treatment rooms in each office, in 2 offices, and then in my office where I'm at, I have Google Chrome. It's logged into in each of them, and I have in my browser I have Google Slides with different slides. I have slides for Dr. Pelto and Podiatry Practice Mastery, and in there, that's where I can make content. So my best use of time is making content, maybe taking a question that a patient has or an image from seeing a patient and putting into a slide, kind of making a slide that I can then turn in and record a video later on. Or an idea for Podiatry Practice Mastery, I might write it on a slide, and when I get to it, I will record it afterwards. So that's my best use, is making content if I'm in different treatment rooms and I have a few minutes. And then I record everything on Tuesday. That's the best time to record, and then my assistant does everything else. The second best thing for me is getting a book, and I read it. So it's amazing, if you want to get through some good books, leave a book there, and every time you have a few minutes, read through this book. You will get through the book super fast. And if you're a reader, you do that. If you have a computer screen, you can do it on Kindle as well. That's a great way to do it, get through a book. That's the second best way. The third is a video course or different videos that you want to watch, like an actual course. I like courses and books more so than I do YouTube videos, because I kind of go down the rabbit hole with the YouTube videos, and I don't really like that. I like actual courses. The problem with courses, if I have headphones in or I'm listening to something, my staff comes in to get me to get the next patient. It kind of feels awkward, so I prefer reading. And then the other thing is doing things in your medical record, like fixing notes, answering things that your staff needs, signing different types of things. So those are the best use of time, because we all have spare time between patients. If you can make good use of it, you can get through tons of books. If you say, I don't have time to read books, well, you do between patients, journal articles, something like that you have to get through, CME, different types of things you have to do for the hospital. So those are my 4 best tips for using spare time. Now, 2 other bonus tips I want to talk about. One bonus tip is be careful of your energy. And I want to be very clear. There's certain days where I don't drink that much coffee or I'm tired. If I am tired, I easily get sucked into everything that's easy, like email, this WhatsApp, all these other peripheral things. So when I'm drained, you have to be really careful of what you're doing, because your energy gets depleted. I tend to just try to get by, frankly, on those days. I'm not very good at content production. I'm not very good at reading books. I want to do something kind of brainless. And so you have to try to find something else that you can do with that time, or just kind of chill out and drink a coffee. Okay, so be careful of energy. And if there's a problem with energy, try to fix that energy with sleeping enough or something else. And the final bonus tip I want to give you is using your car time. If you're alone, I like to use my alone car time pretty efficiently. A couple of my favorite apps. One is Anchor. This is where I record my podcasts as I'm driving. That's my first one. The second one is Audible, which I use to listen to books. And the third is Todoist. I'm sorry, not Todoist. It's let me just find it right here. This last one is called Brain Toss. So Brain Toss is one where I hit it, and it can record a minute message. And so anytime I'm inspired, I have certain ideas, I can record these ideas in Brain Toss, and it'll automatically send it to my email so that I can deal with it the next day. That's the way I deal with all of my ideas. I do everything via email. I send all my ideas to myself on the email. So those were my tips for how to use efficiently your spare time. Hope you found this beneficial. Please let me know. Send me an email, Don@Podiatry Practice Mastery. Do you have any other good use of spare time tips? If you think I'm overboard, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to I want you to get some of your life back so you're not always working. Okay, thanks guys.